firm, helping your organization achieve its full potential. Hello and welcome to my instructional video on how to respond to an NCR in OASIS V3. I'm going to share my screen. First, you will need to log into the new OASIS V3 as a company user. Back in May 2023, you should have received a link to access the new database. If you can't find that email, this is the link that you can use. If you have never used OASIS before, you will need to reach out to your registrar to gain access. Here, your username should be the same as before in the previous version of OASIS, and when you type your old password, a prompt will take you to create a new one. Once this step is completed, you will get to the main screen. Here, on the main screen, you will see if your organization has received any customer feedback, and you should be able to manage an audit. Under the Manage an Audit, this is where any of the NCRs would show in open status. You can then click on Manage an Audit, and it will take you to your dashboard. On the dashboard, on the left-hand side, you will see all the audit orders, which is all the past audits that your organization has had. On the right-hand side, you will see a list of any open nonconformities that you have received and their status. If the nonconformities are showing in red, that means they are overdue. Up on the top menus, you can click on Nonconformities Workflow. And here, this is going to give you a summary of all of your open nonconformities. In this case, this organization doesn't have any right now. But you can also click on Closed Nonconformities, and you will see a list of all the past corrective actions that you have received. From here, I will take you to the auditor screen so that you can see how you will respond to a nonconformance in OASIS V3. So what I will do for the purpose of the video is I'm going to go into open audits. Here are just some audits that I have been assigned to that I have been working on. I'm going to pick any one in particular. Let's try this one. I'm going to edit audit order. And when I'm creating a nonconformity, I'm just going to click Add New. So this is the screen where we begin. In this instructional video, I will not be presenting a real nonconformity, but instead I will use a generic statement for simplicity. The objective evidence is also made up for the sake of the example. Your auditor will have most likely provided you with more specific evidence. This is already going to be done for you when you are responding to a nonconformance, of course, but I will take you through the steps that I can from my end. So here you're going to have your supplier name and you're going to see the contact person. The contact person is the individual identified that would have received the notification from the OASIS database that the NCR has been raised for you. The audit information is going to be here, as well as an additional box that is going to show you the clause number of the nonconformance. I don't have that here because I'm not creating a real NCR. However, if the NCR was created, for example, for the calibration process, it would say requirement 7.152. So the nonconformity classification is going to be either a major or a minor, and that is selected here. So we will first start talking about the major NCR, and then I will tell you what happens when this is a minor. So the NCR applicability can apply to either the head office and additional sites, or the site only. Based on the applicability of this NCR, you will have to address that accordingly. What this means is that the corrective actions will need to be reflective of where that nonconformance has taken place. So if it's head office only, you will address corrective actions at the head office. If it's at site level, you will address them at the site. However, if it's head office and additional sites, you will need to provide additional information for communication and how that information was shared to ensure that the problem doesn't occur or reoccur at head office and the sites as well. So please keep that in mind. The statement of nonconformity is where the information is going to be. So for the sake of our example, we're going to continue with the calibration process. For a major nonconformity, our statement of nonconformity could look like this. The corrective action process is not effective in maintaining calibration status of equipment. For a minor nonconformity, the statement of nonconformity could look like this. The corrective action process is not fully effective in maintaining calibration status of equipment. We will then go on to look at the objective evidence. For the objective evidence, the lead auditor will present you with information that led them to believe that this indeed was a finding. I just picked an example of a couple of items that we can use for the sake of our video. So for the objective evidence, here we have that an uncalibrated caliper was found used at final inspection. The other evidence was that the surface granite plate was found overdue for calibration by 3 months. Here, you're going to have auditor information and here the deadline. So typically, I give my clients 25 days to respond to an NCR from the date of issue, which we'll use today. Today is January 24th, 2024. You have up to 30 days to respond to an NCR. However, the lead auditor also needs a couple of days to be able to complete the review. That is why we always ask to provide us with the information a little bit sooner. Containment. Containment is very important when we have a major NCR. When it's a major NCR, it is almost always yes. What that means is that you have 7 days. So from today, you would have 7 days until January 31st to be able to provide evidence, and you would enter the evidence here into the containment action. You will then email your lead auditor and let them know that the containment actions have been entered into OASIS and they will go in and respond. The lead auditor has up to another 7 days to be able to accept your containment actions. In case you have a minor NCR, of course, there is no containment, so this will be selected as a no. There will be no containment date, but you will still have a response due date. When it is a minor NCR and there's no containment, in the containment actions box, please still put in NA for not applicable. And this is because we never want to leave any of these boxes empty. We want to make sure that they're filled and that you're aware that there is no information needed to be added. So just please put in NA and then start with your correction actions to address your nonconformity. Once the containment actions are accepted, you will then have up to 25 days to provide your correction actions. So correction actions are things that you can do immediately to prevent the problem from spreading. Correction actions could be something like getting the caliper calibrated. So for example, for containment actions, you could use a calibrated caliper and put it in inspection. That would be containment. But correction would be to ensure that the uncalibrated caliper was also calibrated. And the same thing with the surface granite plate. Containment action could include putting the surface granite plate on hold, and the correction action would be to get the surface granite plate calibrated or review the frequency of calibration. And of course, what you need to do is you will then need to present the root cause. And the root cause here will need to be a minimum of a 5 why analysis. Please don't give us one-line responses. This is an aerospace industry. We need you to dig deep to prevent these problems from happening again. Therefore, this should be at least 2 or 3 whys. You can also use any tools that you have available for root cause analysis, or see one of my other videos on root cause analysis training on how we can do this properly. But for the time being, you can also, up here is going to be where you can upload files. So in here, you can actually upload a tool or how you arrived at your root cause, and then in the root cause box, just reference the attachment that you have provided. So this is where you will be attaching files into the database to support your NCR. Here with the nonconformity, you will also have corrective actions. So these are the planned actions to prevent the problem from happening again. They could be updating your risk assessment. They could include creating a new register of calibrated equipment, maybe automating the system so that it prompts you when an item goes out of calibration or when it's coming due, so that you will never miss and you will never forget to complete a calibration of an item. Once your corrective actions are completed, please make sure you enter the cause code down here below. This cause code is actually the most likely reason of your root cause. Was it a documentation issue? Was it a process issue? And here you will have a drop-down menu to select. Please don't forget to complete this. I know it's kind of hiding at the bottom of the screen, and a lot of suppliers are actually not filling this out properly. What's also very important is up here you have planned correction completion date and actual correction completion date. And then these will need to be filled out before submission, and the same thing with planned corrective action completion date and actual corrective action completion date. And once these boxes are filled, you will then be able to proceed and submit your nonconformance at the top right-hand corner right here, where you see the button sign. This button will be green for you to say that you can now submit your nonconformance, and your lead auditor will be notified that the nonconformance has been completed. Thank you. We're going to go on to our second segment of our video, and here we're going to discuss how the response and feedback happens with the auditor. So here, once you submit your nonconformance to your auditor, the lead auditor will take the nonconformance and will complete the details. They will complete this box and they will assess based on the files that have been attached right here to the nonconformance, whether it is acceptable or not. If the nonconformance is acceptable, the details will be completed and the nonconformance here again at the top right-hand corner will be signed and submitted as closed. In case the evidence is not accepted, or maybe your root cause was insufficient, maybe your corrective actions were lacking, maybe there was an attachment was missing to your nonconformance, the nonconformance will be rejected in the database, and it will also be signed and sent back for supplier review. Here you will then be notified again. There will be an automatic message from the database, the IQG, telling you that the nonconformity needs to be addressed again. You will then promptly return to these screens. You will take care of whatever the deficiency was identified. And in the communication tab, as an auditor, I have the ability to put in comments. So for my clients, my customers that I audit, I will actually put the notification right here. And this is where I will say missing evidence of calibration, for example. And then I will submit that to you, and you will be able to see in the communication exactly just why this nonconformity was not accepted. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful in responding to your NCRs in OASIS V3. Dagma Inc. is here to help your organization with aerospace training, consulting, and auditing needs. Please follow me on LinkedIn and the Dagma Inc. page to see more aerospace-related content, and let's start a conversation.